What's up, guys? It's RZ. I'm over here at the Gobuku Studios, and we're about to bring you our Fire Force Episode 5 review. This one is titled The Battle Begins. Pretty straightforward, really fun episode, really cool stuff happens throughout this episode, and we're going to get right into it. So we open up with a pretty interesting revelation when it comes to Iris. She actually has a morning ritual type thing. It's a mix of the part in the credit scene where she's like throwing the water on herself and some flashbacks of when she was, I guess, at the older church, wherever it is that's in the credits. So we learn a little bit more about that. It's still pretty cryptic, but there's a very big realization that comes up here with the fact that Hibana, Princess Hibana from Fire Force Company 5, was apparently a nun with Iris back at that old church. So what's the deal with that? What's going on? Why is Hibana there? I don't know, but we saw that the picture that Iris had was burnt, and the cause of the fire looks to be Hibana. So the two of them apparently know one another, which is pretty crazy to think. So Shinra's walking by, and then he sees Iris doing her little ritual, and it ends up that he, obviously being the perv he is, catches her, and he apologizes, obviously. But then he's like, something wrong because you look like you were crying. So it looks like that ritual, whatever she's doing in the morning, I don't know if it's a ritual, I'm just calling it a ritual right now, is something that she's pretty sad about. Maybe something happened to Hibana in the past, but I know that Shinra, he's not buying the fact that Iris is okay and is all fine and dandy the way she is. And I'm interested to explore more of Iris' story. We then cut to the rooftop where there's a meeting happening where for some reason Akitaru is on top of one of those like bouncy balls that are really big, and he's holding like a bunch of weights, not just like a few weights that are heavy, a bunch. Like he has bags on his back, he has dumbbells, he has I think like those stack cup games. I don't know what you call them, cup. It's not cup stack, I don't know. And then he has like a flower on top of the final thing. It's a pretty hilarious thing, but it just shows that Akitaru has very, very powerful physical strength. And then obviously Arthur and Shinra are not listening. Arthur's busy looking over at some birds, and he's like, yo, I'm about to get these birds. Excalibur's gonna slay them. Well, he calls them griffins, which I was like, they're just literally birds, dude. And then you have Shinra, who's distracted as well. And Maki just tells them both to shut up, that you need to relax. And Takeharu is not having it. So what does he do? He shoots Shinra in the leg. I was like, this guy literally just shot this. He just shot him. But if we figure out that being a second generation Fire Force Company soldier, that Takeharu cannot create fire directly, but he can actually control it. And because a gun ignites the gunpowder, once the fire is ignited, he can actually slow that bullet down to whatever speed he wants, maybe even speed it up if he wanted to really hurt someone, maybe like an infernal or something. So at first I always thought that he was just using guns as just like a regular thing, and I'm wondering, can Akitaru do that as well? Because they both use like physical weapons to fight. So that was pretty cool to learn that. And we do learn a lot more about character special abilities in this episode. So I'm pretty interested to see what goes on there. So after a funny scene where Arthur is talking about a lizard being a dragon, we get more revelations about Hibana and essentially how she was originally a recruit from Haijima themselves. And then she rose her way up to captaincy. Now, the crazy part is she used to research infernals illegally and sell the information, like I guess on black markets and whatever. So we see more about that, and that kind of kickstarts the whole, hey, let's go fight Fire Force Company 5, which is why the title is called The Battle Begins. Now, part of me is like, why didn't they just do this in the last episode? Why'd they let him even go away in the first place? It's not like they don't know where their headquarters is, but I don't know. That kickstarts the whole chasing after Fire Force Company 5. We see Miyamoto, the dude that was taken last time. I don't know what his infernal name is, but we see him in his infernal mode, and Hibana is literally like torturing him. Turns out he's being experimented on, not just researched. So yeah, clearly Fire Force Company 5 is pretty sketchy. And we also get another scene back at the Fire Force Company 8 house, or cathedral, whatever you call it, where Shinra and Arthur are talking. Arthur calls Iris a princess. He's like, oh my god, the princess wants to appoint me as like her personal something. I don't remember what it was, but it was funny. And Maki comes in and is like, where's Iris at? So they go to try to find her. Now, I thought this was pretty interesting because Iris goes on her own to see Hibana, and I'm like, are we going to see more of what happened between them? Turns out that Hibana is not part of that, that religious nun stuff anymore. She doesn't care about, I think the god in their world is called Soul. Maybe that's one of the gods. I don't know if there's multiples or just one, but the god is Soul. If there's anything like Sonic Rush, then Soul Emeralds for fire. I don't know if you ever played Sonic the Hedgehog series, but yeah. So I think that Hibana and Iris, maybe Hibana was like planning something from the start, or maybe Iris, and her had a relationship and then it just fell out. Like they kind of fell out. Speaking of relationships, I think Maki and Iris kind of have a thing for each other because they're a bit flirty. I'm not gonna lie, back at the rooftop scene, but that's like a whole nother thing. I just want to bring that up real quick. But yeah, they go and talk, and it's not a quick talk because Hibana burns off Iris's entire like nun suit and leaves her with just her undergarments, and that is kind of using Iris as bait to get everyone to come and basically save her. I should also say that Iris was talking about something called Black Smoke equals Soul's release before she went to Fire Force Company 5. She's saying some really cryptic things, like in episode 4 she said some weird things, so I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. But they end up going there. First it's just Shinra. He goes over there and he calls himself Save Sister Iris by crushing the fifth man. I was like, that is the longest name ever, but all right, I'll go with it. Fire Force Company 5 is pretty big though. They have a lot of people, like a lot. And I'm interested to see what ends up, what the other Fire Force companies have as their backup. Because Fire Force Company 8, they're the newest one. They don't have that many people. Fire Force Companies 1 through whatever, I'm pretty sure that they have a good amount of people because they've probably been well established. So we get to see some really cool abilities soon. But before that, Arthur and the rest of the group ride in the van that they usually use to go on their missions. And Arthur is riding on top of it like a samurai. He's like just chilling. It's really funny with Excalibur and everything. So I really liked that a lot. And all of them come in. The only person that's missing is Akitaru. I don't know where he's at. I feel like he's going to be important in the next episode, but who knows? And then Takeharu tells Shinra, yo, go. You got to get the captain. You got to save Iris. He says, Arthur, you also go. But for some reason, he doesn't hang on to Shinra this time, and they don't both go together. I don't know. So Takeharu, I was like, Maki's going to do most of the fighting here, isn't she? Takeharu is just going to give her orders. No, Takeharu goes literal John Wick on these guys. Starts shooting with submachine guns, starts shooting with pistols, uses a sniper rifle. This man is doing everything. He's even like, as Arthur's running through the people, because he's not riding on Shinra's fire feet, Takeharu is actually sniping the other guys out of the way, and I was like, whoa, this is pretty dope. And then Arthur uses his like blunt side of I think it's the despair side of the blade to chop down one guard, and that you can see where Excalibur goes after that. That will lead into something later, which is pretty hilarious. So we learned that Maki actually, like after Takeharu goes John Wick on everyone, Maki actually doesn't like fighting people. She only likes fighting infernals, and to me that this seems like a theme with everyone in Fire Force Company 8 except for Takeharu. He doesn't care. He's like, I just can't join this place to start knocking heads, which sounds really weird. But no, he just wants to start, beating up people and ordering people around. Like that's what he lives for. Whereas Maki, she just wants to help people and stop the infernals. So you get a little more lore between the characters and character development to see where everyone's motives stand and who's more towards like Akitaru and Shinra's side versus who's more towards like their own thing. Kind of like Arthur, he's doing his own thing just to be impressive. Would it be impressive or impressed? I don't know. One of those two words. But yeah, he's trying to impress people. We get some split up battles here. So first you have Takeharu and Maki. They're going up against the dude from last episode, Toru Kishiri, the dude with the bubblegum. You also have Arthur going up against Miyamoto, who's now powered up by the Triangle Head dude. Triangle Head dude gave him some super powerful, I don't know, potion or something to power up Miyamoto's infernal form. So now he's apparently 10 times more powerful, or I don't know the exact number, but probably something around that limit. And you also have Shinra, who's just chilling, going his own way. So yeah, I guess I'll go into the Arthur battle first. This one was pretty cool because you actually get to see Arthur struggle a bit. He still has his little quirks. What does he say? He says something along, Oh, Arthur first off comments on the triangle guy's head. I was like, oh man, this guy's funny. And he also is like, he's trying to make a joke with Excalibur. He's like, this is the sword that will, and then he just can't finish it. Like he's trying to get something up for some funny quip, but he just can't do it. So I thought that was hilarious with Arthur, and he ends up getting his ass kicked. And the reason that he is getting his ass kicked is that Excalibur is in his left hand, and you see this when he did the despair move on the dude from before. Excalibur ended up in his left hand, and as soon as he switches to his right hand, he demolishes Miyamoto in one hit. Miyamoto's done. He's gone. I don't think he's coming back ever again. So Triangle Dude is like, what the hell? Who is this guy? You know, like what? And that's pretty much how that fight goes. Then you have Maki and Takeharu, and the guy Toru. Sorry, this guy's name is. It's gonna take me a while. I don't know if I should call him Toru or Kishiri. Kishiri. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what I should call him. He uses this technique called the backdraft bubblish gum tech, which is basically he has a bubble that has no oxygen in it. I don't understand how he blows some flammable gas with his mouth. I guess because he's a third generation, he can form fire, so he blows some flammable gas. But that doesn't make sense in my opinion. But either way, he's able to redirect the bubble wherever he wants. You know, just like with his finger. And he pops it whenever he wants. And obviously when you have flammable gas mixed with oxygen, boom, you get fire. So that's how he creates his explosions, which is pretty cool that they explain that. And Maki and Takeharu get caught by surprise because Toru likes to ambush people. It looks like he likes to fight from the shadows instead of fighting head on. And Takeharu, oh, this guy does some crazy stuff. He shoots into the air a bunch of bullets out of a submachine gun, right? The bullets are like in the air, and he redirects the bullets down into the ground. Once they hit the ground, he reflects them off the ground to wherever he wants. So he is literally like Ocelot from Metal Gear, Revolver Ocelot on steroids. That's literally what he is, because he can use any bullet, it seems, and make it go wherever he wants. I think the two techniques he uses are specifically called ballistic control for controlling where the bullets go, and ricochet control, where I guess once a bullet bounces off something, he can make it actually go wherever he wants. And I was like, damn, Takeharu is really dope. This guy can do some crazy stuff. Sadly, we don't get to see too much from Maki in this battle, but Toru gets he's not dead, obviously, because all the bullets that Takeharu is using are the same type that he used on Shinra, where he makes it so that they're not lethal. You know, he doesn't want to kill people. I should have mentioned this earlier. He doesn't want to kill people. He just wants to, you know, beat them up and teach them a lesson, essentially. Maki doesn't do much, but we do see the Charlie's Angel ripoffs, and there's apparently more than 3 of them, and one is actually still alive once everything's said and done. Maki ends up taking them out, I guess just so she can get some screen time, but she doesn't use like any fire abilities, which kind of sucked. Overall though, I thought it was pretty cool. So we get those 2 split battles, and then finally Shinra arrives at the captain's headquarters, it looks like, where Hibana was already talking to Iris about what exactly she's trying to do with the research of the Infernals and figuring out spontaneous human combustion, all that stuff. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. So, you know, when you really think about it, it's a pretty condensed episode, but there's a lot of action there. There's a lot of new techniques we see, and I really liked how they incorporated all that without making it feel too slow or, you know, too fast-paced. Like, I didn't feel like I was missing anything, but I also didn't feel like it was dragging. So my takeaways from this episode are that I really loved the new techniques, as well as I also loved the fact that we had a split up battle. Anytime you got a split up battle like that, where it's cutting back and forth to different people fighting, oh man, that gets me hooked instantly, because you feel like someone's doing a fight, like a piece of a fight, and then something's about to happen, but then you split over to another fight. So while that one's building suspense, you have that suspense build, you have another fight building suspense, and then you cut back, and it's like, ooh, it's like a rush when you see those type of fight scenes in any form of media, not just in anime, but in this anime specifically, with the whole fire aspect, really helps it out a lot. I'm interested to see where Iris and Hibana's, you know, OG church, I guess, origins stem from, and what's going on with that, because there's a lot of mysteries surrounding Iris and just the sisters in general of the Fire Force companies. So will we see more of that in the next episode? I don't know. I think it's called like Spark Promise or something like that. but I'm interested to see what's going to happen with those two, or what has happened in the past with those two to lead them to where they're at now. Also, Akitaru is now missing, so where the hell is he? Is he going to ambush Hibana from the inside, or is he doing his own thing? Like, I don't know, or I don't remember. Maybe he said something in the beginning of the mission that he's not coming with them, but it would feel weird that he wouldn't, since he's the one. Is it because he told Hibana, yo, I'll let you research this guy? Or I don't know. I really don't. But hopefully we see more of him, because I want to see some abilities from him like we did with Takiharu. That would be interesting. The only negatives I really have is a bit of inconsistency with the plot. Why would you let Fire Force Company 5 leave an experiment on the Infernal when you're simply just going to go right after them basically in the next episode? It didn't make much sense to me that episode 4 ended on a note where it's like, oh, we'll see more of them later, and then we see more of them immediately. And then you also have the fact that Iris didn't even react to Hibana in the last encounter. Like, is there a reason for that? Clearly she knows her. So in episode 4, from what I remember, Iris didn't really react to Hibana in a negative, positive, or like a way that she knew her at all. Other than that, though, I think the episode was really well done. I think that overall it was a very good paced episode. A lot of stuff happened. We got a lot of plot moving forward, and there are some characters like from Fire Force Company 1 and stuff I'm more interested to see in the future. But specifically for this, I can't wait to see more about Fire Force Company 5 and what exactly is in the underground of these Fire Force companies, you know, like the people who are doing sketchy stuff. And it's cool to see it through the eyes of Fire Force Company 8. Overall, I think it's a really good episode. You should definitely watch it if you haven't already. And with that being said, check out our Fire Force Company, or I'm calling Fire Force Company. Check out Fire Force episode 6 next week. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Leave any comments on animes, games, anything else you want us to play, watch, react to, etc. on the channel. We'll be happy to. And with that being said, this is RZ. I'm in the Gobuku Studios, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.